What's up and welcome back. Thanks for subscribing and coming back for more Talking Emmys. This is actually just kind of like a wrap up. I figured I should go through, based on now that I've done all the categories, and talk about who I actually think is going to win right now before I actually even have an official list of nominees. So, based on who I picked to be nominated in these categories, these are who I currently think are going to win. These are my thoughts for the winners in these categories. And then I probably won't make another video until I do my final Emmy predictions right before the Emmy nominations are announced on July 12th. So make sure you subscribe so you can come back for that. Final word, right? All right, let's start off at the top, just like I did last time. We're going to do Best Drama Series. I'm going to pick Succession. I think this is a pretty easy bet. Some people think White Lotus has a shot. That's not even my runner-up. My runner-up, if it didn't go to Succession, is actually The Last of Us. I think The White Lotus is going to struggle a little bit moving into a new category. I think The Last of Us, it's tough for me to pick a brand new show like that. But if anything is going to upset Succession, which I think is impossible, but if anything did do it, if future me time traveled and said, oh my God, Succession didn't win, my immediate thought would be The Last of Us did. Because it was kind of having a moment this year. And it's possible that that moment could extend into an Emmy Award. I think it's a better shot for that over The White Lotus. So I'm going, and also a better shot than Better Call Saul suddenly winning Best Series for its final season. So yeah, I would go with Last of Us as being the potential upset. For Best Actor in a Drama Series, I didn't put Brian Cox in here. Although I think if Brian Cox managed a nomination, I think he might pull a little bit, which makes his category maybe slightly more interesting for those who are not from Succession, that half the category is from Succession. Although, even when that happened in limited series, the people from White Lotus still won. So, it didn't really change that much. It makes it maybe slightly more, where people are like, oh, Bob Odenkirk might do it. I don't think he's going to do it, guys. I think this is between Jeremy Strong and Kieran Culkin. You could coin toss it. A lot of people think Kieran Culkin's going to do it. He did bump up to lead actor, and I think both actors have very strong scenes, but I'm going to say Kieran's the runner-up / dark horse. And I'm going to stick with the person who's already won this category and say Jeremy Strong wins it again for his performance as Kendall Roy. For Best Actress, this is a category. We're still in drama, so just assume I'm saying drama. Best Actress in drama. This is a category where I think people are kind of just laser focused in on their own hopes and dreams. And there's a lot of people out there that think Melanie Lynskey is going to win for Yellow Jackets. I don't know that Yellow Jackets has the strength yet to win this category. I think the fact that Sarah Snook is in, once again, she's in Succession, and I think this thing's going to be a juggernaut. It's its final season. She doesn't even have any competition from any other Succession actresses in the category. I don't see how she doesn't win. So I think it goes to Sarah Snook. However, I'm willing to concede that I do think Melanie Lynskey has the runner-up, because her show seems to be on the upswing, whereas somebody like Imelda Staunton, maybe not so much. And while I would love to see The Last of Us win here, I think if they happen to nominate somebody that young in the category, Zendaya already broke the record for youngest actress to be nominated in this category. They're not going to lower it again. That's Sarah Snook. For supporting actor in drama, this is, again, I feel like this is slam dunk. I think it's Matthew Macfadyen for Succession. I really don't see how he doesn't win, even though I predicted 3 other nominees from the show. Being in this category, I have 4 people from Succession in my nominees list. I don't think really anybody else from another show has a shot at winning here. I think if he did upset, I would go maybe with Alan Ruck being a surprise as Connor. I think Connor was given some really good scenes this year that he hasn't been given in seasons past, and Alan Ruck has been acting for years and has really never gotten any sort of awards attention. So if he managed to break into the category and get a nomination, I think it's possible that people could choose Connor Roy. I don't think it's possible enough he's going to win. But again, the best worst case scenario is I think Alan Ruck. But I think Matthew McFadden's so far ahead on this race for playing Tom in Succession. Supporting actress, I don't think it's going to go to Succession. I didn't even put J. Smith Cameron in my top 8. I struggled with whether or not Jerry had a big enough role, big enough position, and I think some of the other series really boosted their supporting actresses a lot more. I think the conservative bet here is to go with Jennifer Coolidge from The White Lotus. She won in limited for this role, and I think it's very likely that she will win for this. So that she's my pick. So White Lotus doesn't go home empty-handed. I think even if J. Smith Cameron does get the nomination, she doesn't win. There's no path to victory for her. I don't think she wins. There are too many other people here that I think are way above her in terms of winning. But actually, for the runner-up, I'm willing to say it's Rhea Seehorn for Better Call Saul. I think if the show has any shot at winning this year, it's Rhea Seehorn. Aside from the fact that occasionally, every once in a while, the Emmys go, oh my god, this might be the last chance we ever have to award this person, just like the Oscars do. And then they pick somebody, and they have Carol Burnett in this category. However, if you are in the industry and you know Carol Burnett, you know that this is not the last time you'll have to nominate Carol Burnett because she's in Kristen Wiig's Apple Plus comedy. So when that drops, you'll have an opportunity to give Carol Burnett an Emmy in a comedy category instead of Best Supporting Actress in a Drama, which it'd be so weird for her to be the only win for this series. I'm just gonna say that it would be so bizarre. But Rhea Seehorn, not so much. People want a Kim Wexler spinoff. People like Kim Wexler. Hey, if one person's gonna ever win, if this show wins one Emmy award, its entire run, I think it could be for Rhea Seehorn. I really do. So, but I think it goes. She's my backup, and I picked Jennifer Coolidge. Now, I didn't do guest actor categories. So we'll run through these pretty quickly because I didn't tell you even who my top are. But one show really gave. There's a lot of talk about different people, like James Cromwell for Succession, whatever. Sometimes they really do like to use these categories to award people who are on, that like, this might be the last time list. I don't feel that for James Cromwell. He's kind of been on the show since the beginning. He's not so much a guest performance as it is a character who just doesn't get a lot of screen time. So, for these categories, there's a show that has actually done a really good job of taking its episodes and being able to craft them around a character in such a way that they get a really strong guest performance out of it. And I think it's going to be really hard for Emmy voters to overlook the actors from The Last of Us. For guest actress, I'm going with Melanie Lynskey. This is where I do think she'll win an Emmy. I think she was very good in her limited run on The Last of Us, and this was also the role she was fat shamed for. And I mean, narratives are a big deal in Hollywood, and for people to be able to turn around and give her Emmy love for the very same award that people were trying to fat shame her for on the internet, I think that's a very strong possibility. Melanie Lynskey wins here. I think the backup is Anna Torv, who we got really connected to at the very beginning. And I'd love to see Storm Reed also in this. I mean, her episode was incredible. So I would love to see Storm Reid. But I think the other two older actresses are going to be the ones. And then supporting actor, we have to talk about it. It's the Nick Offerman Murray Bartlett problem. And yes, everybody watched the show. This episode broke the internet. The internet was broken. It just died for like 5 minutes. I don't know if you noticed. You probably weren't there. But it did. It died for 5 minutes when everybody was reacting to this episode. The thing is, Nick Offerman is in the entire episode. So if I'm trying to pick between these two actors, I pick Nick Offerman. Because Nick Offerman starts off at the beginning of the episode. He's in it more than Murray Bartlett. He also is the one that experiences the most change as a character. Plus, Nick Offerman is the one that is seen more as a comedic actor. I think most people think of him as Ron Swanson. You know, I mean, he's a voice on The Great North. He's married to Megan Mullally. He's done stand-up. I mean, like, it's not really a fair comparison because Nick has done a seasonable amount of dramatic work. But I think this is where Nick Offerman wins. And of course, he'll make sure in his... We don't get these live, but I'm sure when he does these at the Creative Arts Emmys or whatever, that he gives a lot of props to Murray for that win. I do think Murray is the dark horse. I think it flips the other way. Is that Murray Bartlett's having a bit of a moment. He's coming off of White Lotus. He's also in Welcome to Chippendales. So maybe he seems like the more sensible choice. If you don't want to choose a comedic actor, you want to choose the more dramatic actor, maybe you pick Murray Bartlett. So, but I think it's going to be one of those guys. Sorry to James Cromwell and those who think James Cromwell is going to win. Anyway, moving on to Best Comedy Series. So for Best Comedy Series, this is kind of nuts. Actually, there's like 4 shows that I think could win, but I kind of got them in like, there's a top tier where I'm just like, fuck me, and there's like the other 2 that I think have a shot. The dark horses that I didn't pick, that are not in my top 2, but I think legitimately have a chance, are The Bear and The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I think if people actually watched Maisel's final season, it hasn't won since its first. That's a problem. However, its 5th season is fantastic. And a lot of people have said that it rebounded and it made good on all of the promises, that it had one of the perfect closures for a series. And it's the last time to give Maisel an award. It is an Emmy darling. It's been winning in other categories, even though it hasn't been winning the series. So maybe. The other one is Bear, which is it hot enough to be the hot new series that just jumps immediately straight into winning? I think it's got some serious competition from Ted Lasso and Abbott Elementary. At least the perception is that this is the final season of Ted Lasso in this incarnation. And it won for its first season and it won for its second season. Abbott Elementary has yet to win this award. And I think, for right now, I think Ted Lasso triple crowns it and gets all 3. I think Abbott Elementary is going to be told it has to wait another year. I'm definitely kind of in the minority on that. A lot of people think this is Abbott Elementary's year. I think Abbott Elementary has this weird thing where it's like the last surviving network show that anybody takes seriously. I think it's like it's swimming upstream, because people are like, oh, that's on some network TV. So, yeah, it's kind of odd. It's an odd duck left. It's the remnants of the past. But it's possible that it'll win next year without a Ted Lasso in front of it. So, and with all of the series that are ending, like Maisel and Barry, Atlanta, shows that typically pick up nominations. This could be easy for Abbott Elementary next year. So yeah, I'm going with Ted for the win. Abbott as the runner-up. Actor in a comedy series, I'm going with Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. Every once in a while they do pick a brand new person and they throw them up there, and trying to predict where Emmy voters watched a new show and where that's going to be, and It's very nerve-wracking, but it does happen. Like, Ted Lasso did win for its first season for Emmy, so it's not that breakthroughs don't happen. It's just it's tough to predict what Emmy voters are actually watching, because you can get totally burned. You can assume that because critics love a show and everybody's talking about it and people are like, oh my god, this performance was amazing, that the show will get nominated. Sometimes that doesn't work. That doesn't happen. We've been burned too many times in the past. So there are some shows that never get nominated, no matter how much critics talk about them or how big a fan base the show has. You can get Sons of Anarchy for the rest of your life. But I think Jeremy Allen White, he's already been on some stages being able to give some acceptance speeches. I think he actually beats Jason Sudeikis, but Jason Sudeikis is my number 2 for his final run on Ted Lasso. I don't think Bill Hader is going to make a comeback here. I think Barry is really dark for a comedy series. I think it went to some dark places this season. I don't know that it won a lot of people back, whereas Ted Lasso kind of had a perfect final season. It kind of made good on its promise and came full circle. So, Best Actress in a Comedy Series. This is a tough category, believe it or not. Yes, a lot of people think Quinta Brunson is gonna just like walk away with it, like she's already been mailed her Emmy award. I don't think it's that simple. I think she's up against Rachel Brosnahan from Marvelous Miss Maisel for her final season. And by the way, because Emmy voters do every once in a while vote with some sort of emotional backstory where they give Bob Newhart an award when he's like 85, for The Last Chance, or Betty White or whatever. They do that. They've been known to do that. It happens. We have to talk about the fact this is the last chance to give Christina Applegate an Emmy in a category. She's not going to be acting after this. It's the final season of Dead to Me. I think it definitely gets her in for a nomination. I question how much it gets her in for a win. I think it wouldn't surprise me. I would not be surprised. I would not be shocked if Christina Applegate won. I think it's between Brosnahan and Brunson. And I'll say that I think Brunson does have the edge right now. She didn't win last year. I think if Abbott doesn't win series, the consolation prize is that she wins for actress, and that Brosnahan comes up short for Maisel. She has already won for this award, so wouldn't be that mad. But I don't know how many people came back for the 5th season of Maisel, but Abbott does feel like it's like striking the iron while it's hot. Supporting actor. This is going to be a little wild and crazy. We're going to get wild and crazy kids on you guys here. Yes, I realize I have 2 Ted Lasso boys here. I have Brett Goldstein and Nick Mohammed. I think Nick has the better shot. Brett did win for playing Roy Kent, but he won in a stronger season where the writing was stronger for Roy's character. This time around, Roy actually kind of took a step back and was very... I mean, in his character arc, for like the whole series, it was a great turn for Roy, because it was a great way to finish out his character from where he was in season 1. But if you look at just season 3, it's really hard to say that, yeah, this is it. But however, I think Nathan had a much bigger arc, went through a lot more. So I think Nick Mohammed has the better shot here. The other one worth talking about is Abbott Elementary, for Tyler James Williams, or Tyler whatever. I forgot his name. For Everybody Hates Chris, for the kid from The Walking Dead, for Noah from The Walking Dead. I remember his character's name on The Walking Dead, but I was like struggling to remember Tyler James Williams. Yeah, I think my problem with Tyler's performance is that it's the straight man, and it's the kind of character that typically doesn't win awards. So I have a little bit of a hard time seeing that he's going to win. So actually, there are some people predicting, and I actually agree with them, because They always say a rising tide lifts all ships. If you start seeing Shrinking getting into other categories, it's not because Shrinking was a good show. I think for a first season of a show, there always has to be a reason why people are watching it. And I think what drew people to Shrinking in the first place was Harrison Ford. I think the fact that Harrison Ford, he's never been nominated for an Emmy. That's how little television he's done before. And now he's currently a series regular in a drama and a comedy. So it's baffling. But I think Harrison Ford ends up winning this category. I think he's the whole reason that Shrinking would get other nominations. And I think that he will end up, I think he's actually going to win. I think even if Shrinking doesn't pick up any other nominations, I think once he gets into the final 8, I think it becomes, even if he wasn't strong enough to get everybody to watch Shrinking, it gives people another block of time to look at his performance. And I don't see how people walk away from that. I guess as a backup, if I'm just throwing caution to the wind, I'll say Tyler James Williams because he seems to winning. But I don't understand it, but it's really hard for me to say that, he's got zero chance of winning. I just think Harrison Ford, with the Parkinson's angle and him being grumpy all the time, and the few moments that he has that are just really these deep emotional moments, it's really hard to walk away from that performance. So, there you go. Best Supporting Actress. This one's tough. I think there are 4 actresses that could win this performance, and I think they're all from the same 2 shows. I don't think Alex Borstein is going to make a giant leap in her final season. I'm sorry. Just like I didn't have Tony Shalhoub. I think they're going to get nominated. I don't think they're going to win. I think you've got the Ted Lasso ladies, Hannah Waddingham and Juno Temple. Juno's never won this category. The thing about Juno is that she supposedly is the one that's getting the spinoff. This is why Apple needs to put rumors to bed and just announce what's happening with Ted Lasso instead of just letting people make rumors. Because if this is the last time, I think Juno would win if Juno was never going to be in Ted Lasso or the Ted Lasso universe again. If that was the last time we saw Kaylee, they gave her a strong enough character arc. She was featured in so much of the final season that there's so much reason to give her the nomination and to give her the Emmy. However, without that, it's kind of like, well, if she's getting the spinoff, then I don't know if she's going to get to run a girls' football team. It's I don't know. I mean, Hannah also had a great arc. For anybody out there who's ever been scorned as a woman, she had a great arc for that. And then there's the Ladies of Abbott. Now, there are 3 of them that I'm predicting to be nominated. I don't think Lisa Ann Walter can pull off the win, her first nomination. However, we gave the Emmy already to Cheryl Lee Ralph. And this could be like a Modern Family thing where they kind of start flipping it around and awarding other members of the cast. I think it's very possible that Janelle James wins for Ava. She's my pick to win. I don't know how people keep watching this show and not voting for Ava. I mean, I love Cheryl Lee Ralph too. I still remember her speech in Sister Act 2 with the coulda, woulda, shouldas. So I mean, like that's still. This still comes up in my mind all the time. But I think this is Janelle James's year, and I think as a backup, I would say it probably would be Cheryl Lee Ralph just repeating. She was the last person to win the category. So, guest actress in a comedy. I'll just talk about this briefly. I think usually Saturday Night Live gets one of these. They end up populating the category pretty well. So I'm going to go with Quinta Brunson for Best Actress for Saturday Night Live. Best Guest Actress in a comedy series. And for Best Guest Actor in a comedy series, they do have people in shows where they're getting up there in age, and sometimes sometimes they feel like they have to give somebody an award as they're walking out the door, and I kind of question whether or not that could happen here. There are some interesting nominees in this category. I think Ed Asner actually had a scene that would qualify him for Dead to Me. I think he actually appeared in an episode. I've been trying to remember this. Don't make me go back and watch Dead to Me, but I think he had an episode this season. I think he had managed to shoot part of the final season before he was gone from Dead to Me. And I kind of wonder if giving Ed Asner a posthumous win here for Dead to Me isn't in the cards. So I think they have done it before. Bob Newhart won for Big Bang Theory. He's not dead, but I mean, he won for that kind of like, well, he's a legend. So I don't know. I don't know. But my current thought is if Ed Asner, if they want to give it to him posthumously, I think that might be the possibility here. So anyway, best TV movie. Yeah, so we've got weird category. I'm just gonna go ahead and embrace it. This category doesn't make any sense anymore, so why not? Let's just accept the fact that it doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna go with Prey as my choice to win, with Weird being the runner-up. Just because it's Roku, and I just have no idea if Roku can push a spoof comedy to a win in this sphere. But then again, I've got a Predator film winning, so... But my other choices are like an LGBT comedy. It's just something from Disney Plus. I'm sure something from Disney Plus, and then reality, which is just kind of boring. I just don't think reality's going to win just because it's the only thing that's normal. It's the only like regular thing in this category. So those are my picks. Prey for the win. I think Prey was excellent. So best limited series, we're gonna go with Blackbird for the win. I think that's pretty much. I think that's pretty solid. I think Blackbird is out in front in terms of who's winning this category. As far as a runner-up goes, I don't even know. Like, conceptually, it's tough because what if I'm wrong with my nominees? I don't think HBO has strong contenders this year with White House Plumbers and Love and Death. I just don't. I don't think Showtime can win with George and Tammy. I don't know that Hulu's Welcome to Fleischman or The Patient or Welcome to Chippendales wins. I guess as a runner-up, weirdly enough, the thing is, I don't know that Monster's going to win here. I actually think the runner-up is Beef. I think Beef has come a long way, so I'm picking Beef as the runner-up in this category. So, in lead actor in a drama series, this one is, once again, it's a little weird for me. I'm trying not to predict with the hope and whatever, so I'm gonna lean on safe bets. And sadly, it's very upsetting to me, but I think they're gonna fucking give it to Evan Peters for Monster, and I think Taron Egerton loses, and I think Taron Egerton is the runner-up, and I am not happy about that. But that is, I'm letting my judgment go by. I think Monster may not win for series, may have a lot of controversy behind it, but I think this is maybe that where it picks up the steam is in its nominations, in its category nominations. Anyway, moving on to lead actress in a limited series. Again, this is a weird category. I mean, Jessica Chastain, maybe. It's you know, I don't really know. I'm looking at these series and I don't really know if can Beef win here. Sure, Beef can win here. Could Elizabeth Olsen win here for Love and Death? Sure, she could win here. It's I yeah, I don't really know. Emily Blunt for uh for the English, I guess. But oddly enough, I'm just gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna go with Riley Keough for Daisy Jones and the Six. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and go with Riley. It doesn't necessarily feel solid, but I think if anybody's gonna get a win out of the series, it'll be Riley. So I think as a backup, I'll go with, again, Beef. Beef. But that's it. Anyway, supporting actor in a limited, it is Paul Walter Hauser by a mile. And actually, as a runner-up, I think, again, as awesome as I've heard Richard Jenkins is, I think the runner-up here is Ray Liotta. I think the question is, will enough people vote for Ray Liotta over Paul Walter Hauser? I don't think so, to give him the win. I think that's the problem, is that there's this really strong contender here. But sometimes if Paul wasn't here, I would say Ray Liotta beats Richard Jenkins. But unfortunately, I think Ray's gonna not get the posthumous win, and Paul Walter Hauser wins. Supporting actress, I don't even know who the runner-up is. I said that when I made this category, I think it was like, there's like one person winning and just a bunch of people fighting to be nominated. This is Niecy Nash. There is no runner-up. I refuse to entertain the idea that anybody else has a shot at winning. I was looking at the category, I was like, it's really even hard to pick who's nominated in this category other than Niecy Nash. I feel like this is like when Jennifer Coolidge was up for the White Lotus and everybody just assumed it was going to happen. I think the tea leaves have already been written. Of all of the categories I've predicted so far, this is the one that I feel like is actually the most locked. I don't see anything else happening in this category. I just don't. I see all the other nominees. I see all the other people I left off the list, the people I have on the list. I don't see any of them winning. None of them. There isn't a single person that I picked that I think can actually win this category other than Niecy Nash. So, anyway, those are my picks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.